Man, it's crazy how many different Android softwares there are nowadays. Every brand's got its own custom skin, style, and even a bunch of useful exclusive features that even Google hasn't bothered adding to stock Android yet. So I figured, why not try to get some of these cool brand exclusive features from Samsung, Pixel, OnePlus, NewThing, and more over to any Android phone you've got. That way, nobody misses out. It's a tough task, but it's doable. And since there are over 200 Android brands out there, I'm just gonna focus on the big ones. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. And let's be real, some brands don't even have any interesting exclusives to begin with. So yeah, drop a thumbs up for this one because no one else on YouTube or even on the internet has compiled a video or a list just like this. Alright, let's start it off with the new kid on the block, NewThing. Honestly, I really dig their software called NewThing OS. Love it or hate it, it's easily the most unique looking skin out there. Their design language brings this monochrome looking theme, some dotted text, and overall a really minimalistic approach. They even carried this look into their own custom maps too. Now they haven't made many, but two of my favorites are their weather and the voice recorder app because they went all out on the look. And guess what? I got both of those apps working on my other Android phones. For the weather app, I just grabbed the latest version. As of today, it's 3.0.6 from APK Mirror, and it ran perfectly fine on most devices that I have running Android 15. Phones like my Galaxy S25 Ultra, OnePlus 13, and a few others. It just wouldn't run on my Pixel 9, but I'm guessing it's because that phone is running Android 16, so compatibility may vary. Still, it wouldn't hurt to try it out on your phone to see if it works. Now for the voice recorder, that was a little trickier. I had to download an older version, 1.6.0, because the newest one just wouldn't open up. But honestly, even though it's an older version, we're talking over a year old, it's basically still identical to the latest version. Same features, same look, and it still works perfectly fine. There's just a few minor refinements on the design, but that's pretty much it. And besides NewThing apps, definitely one of my favorite exclusive features on their software is their quick setting widgets. I mean, it's just so practical how you can literally drop a small tile on your home screen and you can quickly toggle some of your most useful system settings like the Wi-Fi or switching to the dark mode. They even let you drop these widgets on the lock screen, and I can't tell you how amazing it is to just turn on the screen and easily turn on the flashlight, toggle Bluetooth, or even enable Do Not Disturb mode without needing to unlock the phone first. Most Android phones don't let you do this. You're usually stuck with the quick settings panel or just two lock screen shortcuts. And that's it. The only other brand that even comes close is Samsung with their Modes and Routines app. You can make little pill-shaped widgets to trigger routines tied to settings, but honestly, they're kind of a pain to set up and they don't really look as clean. Plus, you can't shrink them down to a 1x1 size, and the default icons don't always match, so you gotta dig through your gallery for something close enough. Luckily, you can copy this NewThing feature where you can get quick setting widgets on any Android phone by downloading these two apps, Everything Widgets or NewThing Widgets Pro. Both of them do cost $1 to download, but they both give you those same quick setting toggles to place on your home screen, along with a bunch of other NewThing inspired widgets too. I personally like the NewThing app the most though because it has a ringer mode widget, but Everything Widgets is cool too. They have those fun glyph toys from the NewThing Phone 3, including the spin the bottle and rock, paper, scissors, but both work just fine. Oh, and before I forget, did you know that I started a brand new monthly series on the channel called Best Useful Tech of the Month? In it, I highlight cheap but actually useful gadgets that you'll genuinely want to own. Like check this out, I featured this genius wireless monitor that magnetically attaches to the back of your phone, letting you use your rear cameras for selfies, just like foldables do. Or how about a $6 cable organizer that actually works? And even some smart buttons that let you control any smart device in your house with a single press. And that's just scratching the surface. There are 12 more cool finds in that video. Now I'll be doing this series every month, just like my regular best app videos, so definitely make sure to subscribe and come back every month so that you don't miss out on all these cool things that I show you guys. Anyway, moving on to the next Android software, let's bring over some exclusive features found within everyone's favorite, Samsung One UI. The first big thing that I wanted to bring over is their newly updated weather app. In the latest One UI 8 update, Samsung gave it a complete facelift. Hyper-realistic backgrounds, better animations, and some fun little cartoony elements too. It's honestly one of the most detailed weather apps that I've ever used. Getting it on my other Android phones was also really simple. All I had to do was grab the latest version from APK Mirror, install it, and boom, done. It's really that easy. The only thing is, you just can't directly open the app, including from the app drawer. Instead, you'll need to add one of its widgets from your widget panel to the home screen, and from there, you can just launch it by tapping on the widgets. So you'll have to do it that way. Next is the Now Brief widget, which you'll find on some of the latest Galaxy devices like the S25 series or Z Foldable 7 series. It's basically a home screen widget that acts like your personal assistant, giving you quick relevant info like weather, upcoming calendar events, and more all in one spot. And here's the good news. You can actually get the Now Brief working on most older Samsung phones too. I got it working on my Galaxy S24 Ultra and my Z Flip 6. I even made a whole YouTube short about how you can enable this feature. I'll leave that link in the card if you're interested. The bad news is that this method only works on older Samsung phones. There's really no way to bring the Now Brief to other Androids. Sorry guys. But here's something everyone can enjoy. Stackable widgets. On One UI, you can literally stack widgets on top of each other and swipe between them. It's super handy and saves a ton of space. I'm shocked more companies haven't copied this too. Well, except Apple and actually even the latest ColorOS update, but it only works with their apps, not third-party ones. But don't worry, you can still get something similar on any Android. There are two main ways to do it. The first option is to use this third-party launcher called Smart Launcher 6. On the home screen, it lets you stack any widgets of any size with no limit. It's actually even better than Samsung's version because One UI limits you to just stacking 7 widgets at once. The only downside though is that most of these features found within this launcher, including this stackable widgets one, are locked behind a monthly paywall of around $4.50. So if you don't want to pay that monthly fee or even switch launchers entirely, there's a second option, which is to use this app called Popup Widget. It does cost $2 to download, but with it, you can have all your widgets be scrunched down into one place. Now, you won't be stacking widgets like on Samsung phones, but it does let you create a one-by-one shortcut that opens multiple widgets in a pop-up window. Plus, you can move them around, resize them, and truly customize how you want the widget page to appear. Just make sure that within the app, you jump into the options menu, and at the bottom, enable unlimited multiple widgets. Then on the main page, you can tap on the double check mark at the top and just quickly select the widgets that you like to group together into a single shortcut. That's it. Now, for one of Samsung's most classic features, edge panels. If you've ever owned a Samsung phone, you probably already know about this feature. It's basically this little side panel that you can swipe in to get quick access to apps, contacts, tools, and other goodies. Well, there are actually some great apps that can bring this to any phone. Two of the best are OneEdge and Panels. OneEdge is the completely free option and is packed with features that Samsung doesn't even have. Besides the usual stuff, you get countdown timers, water trackers, RSS feeds, and my personal favorite, app usage stats. The only catch is that it's not very customizable. Panels, on the other hand, is way more customizable, but it comes with fewer panels. And some features are locked behind a paywall too. Still, you get an app drawer, widgets panel, and this cool toolbar where you can mix apps, website shortcuts, system settings, folders, and even app pairs to quickly open apps into split screen mode really easily. And it honestly works really well too. All right, let's move on to the next Android software, the Google Pixels. These phones will always have a special place in my heart because hands down, they've always been the best phones to come out with some of the smartest exclusive features out of any Android. I've actually made a bunch of videos already about how I got those Pixel exclusive features on any Android. You can check the cards if you want those deep dives, but today I'll just share my absolute must-haves that I put on pretty much all my non-Pixel phones. Hands down, my favorite Pixel feature, Now Playing. Imagine you're hearing a song in real life around you, and instead of scrambling to open Shazam or yelling at your voice assistant, you can just glance at your lock screen and boom, song title right there. It works silently in the background too, with no effort on your part. And you know what's even crazier? Pixel phones have had this feature for over 8 years. Yeah, and still, no other phone has anything similar to it. Luckily, there's an app called Ambient Music Mod that replicates this exclusive feature almost perfectly. When music's playing around you, it recognizes it automatically, displays the title on your lock screen, and even saves a history of everything it's picked up, just like the real deal. The only catch is that the app is limited to its database of songs, which is constantly growing to be fair, but it also has to be saved locally on your device. So just keep that in mind. And if you do decide to use this app too, you need to enable it with the Shizuku app. If you're unsure how to do that, I actually made a YouTube short just recently on showing you how you can set that up. I'll leave it in the cards. Another Pixel exclusive feature that I really like is Reimagine, which literally lets you transform any photo through a text prompt. You just open an image, highlight the part that you want changed, and type what you want instead. And then it literally transforms the picture exactly how you described it. It's scary good. Now, you can't get this exact Pixel version outside of a Pixel 9, but I did find an app that works really well and gets pretty close results. It's called Phot AI, and inside I just went to the AI tools section, selected Object Replacer, chose my image, modified the brush size, and drew over the part that I like to change. Then within the text field, I described what I wanted to replace. In this case, I wanted to replace the rock with a waterfall. And finally, once I hit Replace Object, it got to work and it got the job done in a few seconds with an incredible new reimagined photo of a waterfall in the background. The only downside is that the app does have a monthly subscription fee, which is pretty annoying, but I tried to find a free alternative that is just as good, but nothing comes close at the moment. And then there are the new Pixel 9 apps, like Pixel Screenshots, which organizes your screenshots and makes them searchable, and Pixel Weather, which obviously tells you the forecast in a really gorgeous way. The Pixel Weather app is super easy to grab. You can literally just download the latest version from APK Mirror, and it'll run on most Android phones without a problem. The only thing though is that it's missing the AI weather report summary thing, but otherwise it's pretty much the same app. Now the Pixel Screenshots app is a bit trickier. You can't get the same exact version, but there is a free open source app called Shot Studio that does pretty much the same exact thing with a similar looking interface, even providing some extra useful features. Not only can it create collections for you to organize your screenshots, but it even uses Gemini AI to auto-categorize those screenshots for you and group them into the right folder. For example, I actually made a GIF ideas collection, and then I just turned on smart categorization, and it went through all my old screenshots, pulled out Amazon products, website clippings, and dumped them neatly in that folder. And sure, there were also some other random screenshots in there, but for the most part, it worked pretty well. It also makes your screenshots searchable, it does OCR to pull text from images too, auto-generates tags, and has the same clean material you designed. Honestly, I would even go as far as to say that it's a little better than Google's version. Anyway, one of the best ways I've recently improved my online privacy is by using a proxy. If you're not familiar, think of it like a middleman between your device and the internet. Instead of connecting directly to a website, your connection goes through the proxy first. So websites don't see your real IP address and location. Instead, they see the proxies, keeping you a lot more anonymous online. It's also super handy for things like data scraping, where you can grab large amounts of info from websites safely. And honestly, one of the best proxies that I've found is DataImpulse, the sponsor of this video. They've got over 90 million IPs in 195 different locations, and their pricing is really simple too. No hidden fees, no weird expiration dates, you just pay as you go, starting at just $1 per gigabyte for residential proxies or $2 per gigabyte for mobile. And they offer discounts too, if you're buying a bunch of traffic at once. Setting it up just takes a few minutes too. Their dashboard is clean and super easy to use, even on your phone. Plus, you get extra useful features like rotating and sticky sessions, support for SOC S5 and HTTPS protocols, and super fast 1-second response times. And just so you know, they don't resell proxies from other companies. What you're getting is top-notch quality that they manage themselves. So if you've been looking for a proxy service that's flexible, affordable, and just works, check out DataImpulse. The link will be at the top of the description. All right, moving on to the next Android software, I'm actually going to take on 3 Android skins at once. Oppo's ColorOS, OnePlus's OxygenOS, and Realme's Realme UI. And the reason for this is because they all come from the same parent company, BBK Electronics, and honestly, they're so similar that it just makes sense to group them together for this one. Now, one of my favorite features across all three is something called AI Reply. Here's how it works. Whenever I'm in a conversation, I can swipe in from the edge of the screen to pull up the smart sidebar, and then I can just tap on AI Reply. Then it'll scan the entire chat to come up with responses that I would have never even thought of myself. Then from there, I can even tweak the tone, make it more formal, more casual, or whatever I'd like. Now, Samsung and others try to do something similar in their keyboards, but theirs only work after you already type something out. It just polishes your message rather than actually generating fresh ideas. Plus, sometimes on Samsung phones, it doesn't even work altogether, saying the text is too inappropriate to rewrite even when it's not. Unfortunately, I couldn't find an alternative that's as good as AI Reply for other Androids, but the closest thing that I did find is this keyboard called CleverType. It feels almost identical to Google's Gboard app, glide typing, emoji search, clipboard, built-in translation. Just the grammar correction isn't as good, but it still adds these 3 magic AI buttons. One fixes the grammar, one changes the tone, and then one brings up ChatGPT for full reply generation. So if you get a message and you're not sure how to respond, you just copy it, and then it'll just give you the option to come up with a reply right then and there in the keyboard. And then, of course, you can also change the tone a bit. Even better, you can create custom writing assistant prompts in the settings. I made 2, one for making the replies more casual and one for making them funnier. So my responses don't actually sound like a robot wrote them. Another feature that I love from these skins is O+ Connect. It makes sharing stuff across Android and Apple devices super easy. It even works with Macs too. Say I want to send a bunch of photos and videos, I just tap on this iPhone icon in the Share menu, hold my Oppo or OnePlus phone near the Apple device, and they connect instantly. The files transfer in full resolution over a secure local connection, and they're the only brands I know of that can share live photos too between iPhones, which is pretty cool too. Now, you can get something similar on other phones. I use 2 apps. The first one is Transfer, which I reviewed on my best apps video for July. But it's basically this free and open source app that will create a local file server that you can access on pretty much any browser. So on my iPhone, Mac, or Windows computer, I don't need to download any app. I just head into the browser and just type in the IP address that the app gives me, and boom, it'll bring up this entire file sharing interface where I can send files through the air at full speed without a problem. Plus, the fact that I can access this page from any web browser pretty much means that it works on almost any platform out there, letting me share files back and forth like it's no big deal. The other alternative is this app called LocalSend. It's a much more popular option, and I'm sure some of you have heard of it already, and it does the same thing, letting you send files to any Apple device that's on the same local Wi-Fi network. The only reason I prefer the first app though is because with LocalSend, your friend will also need to have it downloaded on their phone to receive the files. And you don't want to be that guy who says, bro, you need to download this app so that way I can send you this file. That's, pretty annoying. All right, next up is Motorola. They like to keep things pretty close to stock Androids, so they don't have too many exclusive features as some of the others do, but they do have a couple of cool ones that are worth talking about. One of my favorites has always been their Moto gestures, like chopping twice for the flashlight or twisting your wrist to open the camera. I actually managed to bring those gestures to my other Android phones using an app called Shake It. It does the same thing, and you can even customize the gestures to open other apps. I'll admit, it's not quite as smooth as on a Motorola phone, but it still gets the job done. Another Motorola feature that I find really interesting is their Peak display. It's like their version of an always-on display, but with a twist. You get these floating bubbles for apps that have incoming notifications, and when you tap one, it opens the app in a floating window so you can interact with it or reply without needing to unlock your phone. It's pretty clever. If you want something similar, you can try an app called Peak AOD from the Play Store. It replaces your always-on display with a smarter one that shows you detailed notifications. You can scroll through notifications without waking the screen and respond to the notifications too. It doesn't quite open a pop-up window like Motorola's Peak display, but it's the closest thing you'll find. Next is Honor's Magic OS. One new feature that really impressed me is their AI Magic Portal 2.0. It's basically a super smart way to share stuff between apps. For example, you can long press a photo, drag it to the side of the screen, and a carousel of apps slides in, and you can share it to wherever you want. Even crazier, you can draw a circle on the screen with your knuckle, and the system will suggest smart actions based on whatever you highlighted, like opening an address in Maps or sharing text to another app. Unfortunately, since this feature is so new, there's really no way to replicate it exactly, and I wish there was. The closest thing that you can get are some small tricks on other phones. Like on Samsung, you can long press a photo and then use another finger to jump into the Recents apps and drop the photo into a different app. In the OnePlus and Oppo world, there's something called the File Dock in the Smart Sidebar, where you can save files by dragging them to the top edge, and then you can actually drag those files into other apps too. But honestly, that's about as close as it gets right now. Now, these next few Android skins are totally foreign to me since I've never actually had the chance to try out any of their phones, and that's mostly because they don't really sell their smartphones here in the US, where I'm from, and I also haven't worked directly with these companies too. So instead, I'm just gonna share a few quick exclusive features that I spotted online that I really liked, and I managed to bring over to my other Androids. Let's start with Xiaomi's MIUI. One thing that really stood out to me is their super wallpapers. These are basically incredible 3D immersive live wallpapers that take you through different worlds as you switch from the always on display to the lock screen and then the home screen. It's like a little cinematic experience every time you unlock your phone, and it's really smooth too. There are a couple of ways to get these wallpapers on your other phones too. The first method actually gives you the same exact super wallpapers that Xiaomi uses by just downloading them off APK Mirror. Here's the catch though, it only works on older phones. More specifically, for devices released before mid-2022. And here's why. Some years back, a developer named LinuxCT actually modded all of Xiaomi's super live wallpapers into downloadable APKs, so that way you can download them and get those flashy super live wallpapers on any phone. But those mods haven't been updated in years, so most phones nowadays can't even download them since they only support 64-bit apps. And those outdated mods are still on 32-bit. So again, the only way to download those modded apps is if you have a really old phone. So there you go. For folks with newer phones, the only alternative is to use an app called Pika Super Wallpaper. Now, it won't give you the same exact live wallpapers from Xiaomi, and it's honestly not as smooth, but it has the same idea of giving you immersive backgrounds as you unlock the screen. Fair warning though, the app is loaded with ads, so you'll probably have to watch a video ad or two just to apply the super wallpaper. After it's applied though, you're good to go without dealing with the app again, unless you want to change the background of course to another one, but there you go. Now Vivo is another interesting one. In their latest Android 15 update, they introduced a feature called Video Wallpaper. Pretty much what it sounds like. It lets you set videos as your home screen and lock screen wallpaper. Most Androids don't let you do that for the home screen, just the lock screen, so it's kind of unique. To get that on your phone, you can download a free app called Live Wallpaper Any Video. It works really well. Just make sure you go into the settings though and set it to crop the video. Otherwise, it might look a little distorted on your home screen. Then we have Huawei's HarmonyOS, which also comes packed with some cool exclusive stuff. One feature I really liked is called Super Device. It lets you mirror and control your phone screen on other Huawei devices, including their laptops, without even needing the internet. Plus, you can even drag and drop files from the mirrored phone window to the other device to instantly transfer it, and vice versa too. Now, there are other devices out there that have a similar feature, like OnePlus's tablets, but not every OEM has this sort of feature or even includes as seamless of a connection. To get something similar on other devices though, where you can mirror your phone to another screen, there's a free and open source app called RustDesk that can do this for you. Once you start the service, it gives you an ID to type into the other device, and bam, you can see and control your phone remotely without cables. It works on all operating systems too, Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, you name it. Plus, you can have the app in a floating window, kind of like Huawei's Super Device. The connection isn't going to be as seamless as Huawei's, but it still gets the job done. Anyway, tap this video right here to watch my new series that I just launched called Top Tech of the Month, where you can find some interesting new items that you may want to use. I also hope I helped you get an exclusive feature on your Android. If you did, a thumbs up would mean the world. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!